Hello you guys, welcome back. So today we're just gonna do some spring upcycling, crafting, um, just some little items that I can add into some vignettes. So here I'm just taking a piece of cardboard and I'm taking the top layer off of the cardboard. I just want that corrugated part of the box. So all I'm going to do here is glue this printable down to the cardboard. I purchased this printable sometime last year. I'm not sure if I still have the link for it. If I do, I will add it down below. And as always, I'm going to go in with some Distress Oxide from Hobby Lobby to age the edges. Then I'm going to get this little knob here. I'm pretty sure I got it from the bins. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and just add a little sprig of greenery into there, and I'm just going to add these into a little vignette that I'm creating for Whatnot. So next I'm just going to create a little nest that I want to add into a little vignette. I'm adding some glue and then I'm just going to add this moss right over that, and I'm just going to start shaping it into a little nest. And then I'm just going to spray it with this Elmer's Crafters glue, and then I'm going to set it aside to dry, and I just want it to stay intact and not be falling all over the place. This is actually the first time I do this and it actually worked out well. So these little houses, I actually picked them up from the Goodwill bins and they were Christmas decor. I just pulled off all the Christmas greenery and now I'm just going to make them into a spring decor. So then I'm going to go in with this peel and stick like moss type sheet, and I'm just going to add it to the top of the roof. Even though it is peel and stick, I did add some hot glue. I just want to make sure that it stays adhered and doesn't come off. So once I adhered it to the top of my little house here, I did realize I trimmed it a little too short. So I'll just go in with another piece of this little moss to cover the front part of the roof. So I add this to both sides of the little house, and then I'm just going to grab the grapevine that I took apart off the top, and I'm just going to glue it back on to where it was previously, but they had it stapled on. I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue and glue it back on. And just because I love moss and I think it's a cute added detail to spring crafts, I'm just going to add some to the inside of my little house, and I don't glue it or anything. I just kind of just stuff it in there. And just to create a cute little bow that I'm going to add to the bottom of my house, I'm just going to cut up some jute, some lace, and some random fabric just to create a little messy bow. I've been on a lace kick lately. I don't know what it is. I just want to add lace to everything. So maybe it's just because I found a bunch of cute lace recently at the bins. So, I mean, I got to use it. So here I'm just going to cross my pieces of fabric and lace over each other. And then I'll pinch it in the middle and tie it up. And that's going to create my little bow. So once I get it all tied up, I'm just going to give it a little fluff, and then I'm just going to add some hot glue to add it to the house right underneath. It did have like a lot of holes and stuff where I pulled out the greenery from Christmas. This is just going to cover that up a little bit. And for another cute added detail, I'm just going to go in with the Scrabble letters that I'm pretty sure came from the bins, and I'm just going to put the word home right there on that bottom little ledge that this house has. And these are sticky as well, but I do add some hot glue just to make sure that the letters don't fall off. So I did end up purchasing 2 of these and they both came out way cuter than I expected. So I hope you guys like this, and here is the end result. So this little wall pocket was not my favorite, but what I ended up doing was using a piece of doily that was like cut from another piece, or at least it looks like it. I'm gonna use that piece for the background, and then I'm gonna cut a piece of canvas, and I do want to stamp it with this little rabbit from some IOD stamps, and I am gonna be using the color Coffee Bean, I believe. The ink is from Hobby Lobby. So anytime you stamp fabric, you just want to make sure you ink up your stamps very well to make sure that you can get a clear image. This one I didn't seal with any heat. It is going on a piece of decor, but if it was going like on a kitchen towel or anything like that, I would have sealed it with some heat. So now I'm just going to go in with some hot glue to adhere my canvas piece to my little doily here. Now I do feel like I should have sewn this or adhered it a little bit better with something else, but I left it for now. To adhere this piece onto my wall pocket, I am going in with smaller pieces of canvas with some glue and just gluing it from the back to adhere this piece to the wall pocket. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I am on a lace kick right now, so I'm just creating a little messy bow using some random fabric and lace, and I feel like the bow may have been a bit much, but I do end up attaching it with some thread. I will not glue it in case I decide to take it off, and here is the end result. So for this cute little brush here, I did paint the top here, but then I got this idea that I'm going to make it a little photo holder. This brush does have a flat bottom, so I will add some glue and then shoot some nails into the bottom to attach it, and I'll be right back. So once it is all glued up, I am going to go in with the same paint, which is Apothecary from DIY, and I'm just going to coat the rest of this with that paint. And I do want to mention that the round bottom is from the Goodwill bins, and it was like a coaster or something from a company. I picked up a lot of them. I do like to pick up wood rounds. They just, you can use them for so many things. So yeah, I never pass up wood rounds. So once that paint is all dry, I'm going to bring back some of that wood using my sanding block. Then I will go ahead and seal this all up with some wax from the line Bear from Home Depot. Basically going to cover this with some white wax and wipe it back. Now I'm going to go ahead and embellish this with a piece of lace and this cute little key. I think this is from Amazon, and that is basically it for this one. So this is a piece of wood salvage I started a couple weeks ago, and I just never finished it. So I'm gonna finish it today, but I did change my mind on the color. I want to go in with the Apothecary paint from DIY, and I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna do a wet distress to this piece. So the color I started with is a color from the DIY Cottage Colors. It's called Juniper. And so that one's going to have a little bit more resistance than the one I used on top. I do like both colors coming through, but I also want to bring out some of that wood. I will seal this up using some white wax as well, and that is basically it for this little makeover. So this little terracotta pot here, I did sometime last year for a little spring DIY, but I'm gonna leave the pot the same color, but I'm changing out what I put inside. I had the little green moss bunnies from, I think, Dollar Tree, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull those out. I'm gonna add more glue to my foam here, leave the moss, and then I'm gonna go in with a little grapevine wreath and stick it right on top of that little stick that I had in this little pot. So to attach my little grapevine wreath, I am going to go to the one of the sides where it is allows me to open it a little bit so I can stick the stick right through that, and then I'm going to add some glue to reinforce it. And I do go heavy on the glue here. It is going to be covered with some moss, so that will not be visible. I also add some hot glue to the grapevine wreath so I can attach some moss. This moss is, I think, reindeer moss, and I want to say it is from Amazon. It's not the one that falls apart, so it kind of just stays together, so it works out perfect to add on to this little wreath. So I do end up covering both sides of the grapevine wreath. I don't stress too much about covering it completely because I do think it is cute for it to peek out a little bit. But that is basically it for this one, and here it is all set up. And for the last makeover is super easy. It is just going to be for a frame. I did print this from, it's a free printable from Pinterest. I am going to adhere it to this canvas from Dollar Tree. Only thing is, this canvas I didn't realize has like a little defect. The canvas is not completely adhered to the cardboard, so I am going to use the back. And I'm going to use this Elmer's Craft glue to attach my print. So I sprayed down my canvas really well, and then I'm going to attach my print here, and I'm just going to press it down and make sure it is very well bonded to my cardboard. And I want to make sure I push out any wrinkles. This paper did have a bit of folds in it, so I'm pushing it down completely, and some of the glue did seep through, but I'm okay with that. As you can see right on the top right corner, it did seep through. Hopefully when it dries it won't show as much, but other than that I still think it is cute. So I'm just going to sand off some of the edges just like I do when I decoupage, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add it to my frame. So I will go ahead and stick this right into my frame here. I don't seal it or anything. This one is going to stay with me. I'm just going to stick it into the frame, and to make sure that the canvas doesn't fall out or anything, I do add some little pieces of foam poster board from Dollar Tree. You will see me here in a bit cutting them. I just stick them right underneath that little opening, and that does the trick to hold the canvas in. So that is basically it for today's video. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and for continuing to watch these videos. I hope I inspired you to create some upcycled spring home decor using some things you have around the house or thrifted. Most of these items will be available on my show on Whatnot on Sunday. It is going to be a salvage show. I will leave the link down below if you want to join me there. And again, I appreciate you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.